Baby, look. Wow. You want to pull it? Wow. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I wanted to switch things up a little bit and kind of take you through like a week in the life, kind of, and just show you guys what a typical week in my life looks like. But what I've come to find as I go through entrepreneurship, motherhood, all these different things is that it seems like there's a theme every week. Like, if I'm really paying attention, there is a theme for the week that I can learn something from or that I could just make myself aware of. And for this past week, the theme that popped up was distractions. And it really went into full gear at church when my pastor started to talk about it. And I want to talk about how even Jesus was distracted, right? Or there was an attempt to distract him from his purpose. And if there's anybody that has done things with grace and wisdom and discernment in his time here, it was Jesus. And he had a purpose and he did not veer off of that purpose. And so we also have goals and purposes in our life, and if we let things come in and distract us, it's going to knock us off course. It's going to take extra time to get to the end where we want to get to, and there's just all these other things. So I categorize the different types of distractions that pop up, and I came up with like 5 different kinds of distractions, and I just kind of want to go through them today and see if this will resonate with you guys. The first type of distraction is the creative distraction. And this comes in the form of, let me focus on how my logo looks, or let me focus a little bit more on the website font, or, let me come up with a training to train the people on my team on how to use Canva, just all these things that come up that they might seem not so bad, and they're really not bad at all. But what happens is it takes away essentially from the income producing activities. And I've fallen victim to this. I am, that flyer girl. I will come up with a flyer. I will come up with a graphic for a training. I will come up with a slideshow in a heartbeat. Yet, the real uncomfortable income producing activity, I, sometimes tend to shy away from. And so I became aware of this, and now I will save those kinds of things for the late night. And if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done, because there are other types of things that really take precedence. And so if you're not aware of that, you will feel like you are busy because you're doing some type of creative thing for your business or for whatever. And really it's not income producing, and it could truly hurt you if you are not getting a hold of it. Next is the benign kind of distraction. And the reason why this one, I think it's going to stir up some controversy, is because the word benign literally means like harmless, right? And so these types of distractions come in and they are harmless, but at the end of the day, if you don't pick up the pieces, those are the kinds of things that will have you in a whirlwind. And I'm talking about, maybe you have to drive your parents to an appointment, or maybe you have to pick up the kid early from school because something happened. And these are things that are really not in our control, or maybe we're helping other people out. And, all these things, the kids aren't bad people, the parents aren't bad people. And I yet will still call it a distraction, because sometimes when these things come about, they knock us off course, and then it's really hard for us to get back up and on the course that we were on. And that's what I mean when I say benign, because the distraction itself is harmless, but what becomes harmful is when we give ourselves a pass or an out, because, I already spent, 2 hours doing this, so I might as well take the rest of the day off and start fresh tomorrow. No, you actually have to double down because of lost time, if that makes sense. And I've done this as well. I love, saying yes to things before I fully even understand. And it really ends up just I don't want to say getting in the way, because again, these are the benign, harmless kinds of distractions. But if we don't control where our time goes after we have made those commitments, that is where the full-on distraction comes in. This next one, I think we could all relate to in the time of our phones and social media. This is the mindless distraction. And this has become so prevalent because we spend so much time doing a lot of the same routine behaviors, and we don't even realize how much of a distraction they are because they're just that, right? It's mindless. So if you're not aware, you can really, really get caught up. And tell me if y'all have ever had this experience of you are on an app and maybe you were on it for the past 20 minutes and you're like, okay, let me get off this app and go do something else. And you get off the app and you maybe swipe left, swipe right on your phone, and you end up right back in the very app that you just exited out of. And I have fallen so victim to this because we have become hardwired, right? It's become so ingrained and so habitual that we would just press an app, scroll. Sometimes we don't even know what we're looking at. Sometimes people are like, hey, did you see my post about this? And we literally saw it, but we didn't see it because we weren't genuinely engaging with the content. And this is dangerous because we can let 20 minutes turn to 40, turn to 2 hours. And before we know it, all of the things that we said we were going to get done, because it's so low stakes to just sit up on our phones or watch a movie or watch a show, binge watch a show, because it doesn't require much, it can really sneak up on us and really burn and eat away at our productivity. So the mindless distraction, although, this is, I think, one of the most prevalent ones, it is one of the most dangerous ones for sure. The next type of distraction is what I like to call a flagrant distraction. It's obvious, it's blatant, it's glaring. There's no doubt that this is a distraction, and sometimes we know it. We know we shouldn't go down that rabbit hole, or we know that we should just not pick up this phone call, and we do it anyway. And I don't even think I need to give specific examples. I think we all know what those distractions are, and what it tells me is that there's still a need for boundary setting. And I am coming at y'all because I am right with y'all, and I have gotten to a place where I'm learning how to set boundaries, where I'm learning how to, not pick up the phone or just let people know, hey, don't call me at a certain time because I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, or don't invite me to a certain place because I'm just not going, and not to sound like I'm a curmudgeon or I don't know how to have fun, but there is a time and a place. And if it's not in my calendar, of course, I'm a human. Of course, there's some flexibility. But the problem is when you're too flexible, that's when you never stay on your track. And so I have been distracted by a whole bunch of flagrant things in my life, but I understand now how to set boundaries, how to not feel bad for saying no, or saying, I don't want to talk about this right now, or this is not a good time for me, or that's not a good weekend for me, that doesn't work for my schedule, or whatever the case may be, so that you can keep yourself on track. Last but certainly not least, this one really hits home, and it's the antagonistic distraction. Y'all, when you are elevating, when you are making progress, when you are on your way to fulfill the fruits of your labor, there are going to be people that have been watching you, not necessarily preying on your downfall, but just watching from the sideline, and they can see that you're about to get to the finish line, and they're going to be like, hey, big head, what's up? Or can you just come down? Let's just talk real quick. And there's this verse in Nehemiah 6 where Nehemiah in the Bible was working on rebuilding the wall, and his adversaries saw that he was actually getting it done. And that's exactly what they do. They sent a message to him to just say, yo, let's just chop it up real quick. We want to talk to you. And really, they meant him harm. So if he would have came up off that wall, the job wouldn't have gotten done. And so that's my message to you guys today, is when it comes to these kind of adversary distractions, you don't want to fight fire with fire, because then you're going to come off the wall and then the work can't get done in the diligent way that it was meant to get done. You're emotional, you're fired up, you've spent time away from the field, and you don't want that. So when your antagonists come, when your opponents come, your enemies come, and they try to distract you with arguments and gossip and try to tear you down, tell lies about you, whatever the case may be, you cannot come down to rectify or justify or try to do anything. Keep on doing the work, and the vindication for your adversaries is going to come from God. Okay, you don't need to throw no hands, none of that. Just stay on track, stay in your lane, and God is going to hold it down. Okay, your only job is to do the work and keep on doing the work. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this week in the life with a little podcast episode going on in the background. Please, if you have not already, subscribe, like this, so that more people can get exposed to this type of content. And I will see you guys in the next video.